Greetings, traveler. I'm SnapJelly, and I know this video is late, okay? I know. I have a reason for that. The thing is, I already was kinda late on schedule, I admit that, but I kept a few days open for me to work on videos, but I got sick. I got pretty sick, so yeah, I went to the doctor. I got some antibiotics right here. Hell yeah. And well, I managed to get out of bed this morning, so here's a video. Hooray! I don't know how long this video is gonna be though. I didn't prepare very well. But what I decided to do is I have made 2 videos on the Battle of Helms Deep now. And I have in the comments seen some questions or people who disagree with things that I've said. So I was just gonna go through the comments on those 2 videos and comment on the comments on those videos. I'm so good at explaining stuff. Alright, let's begin. Firstly, I got a bunch of comments of people saying that the ladders were pushed up by the pikes of the Urukhai. I am gonna have to say I thought that was the case as well at first, but I watched the battle a million times because well, when you analyze videos like that to make videos about it, it just takes, you know, the details matter, because otherwise people are gonna complain. And I actually saw that I need something like a ladder analog. A back scratcher. I saw that in most shots you did not really see the pikes actually touching the ladders. The shape of the pike does make it seem like that's what they were for. But really, in most cases, you can just see the ladders gradually and steadily go up like this, and then at some point they just hit the wall, right? Not really like they were pushed up or anything. And also something that I want to notice is that the ladders, they had a guy on top, like a berserker was on the top of the ladder at all times. It makes it super heavy. And if you want to push a ladder or anything else over its balance point, right, so that it falls, you would have to push it pretty far. Like you would have to push it here. Does it go? No, still not. No, nope, still not. You have to push it all the way to here until it actually falls forward, or at least not back anymore. And you just don't see that happen in the movie. Like, please feel free to screenshot this and point out where. Maybe I'm just fucking blind. But if you look closely, why am I wearing headphones? If you look closely, you can see that the ladder, they just magically move up. But well, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'll tell my mom you're my boyfriend. Hello, I would like to file a restraining order. Yes, thank you. Actually, bud, if my memory is right, Gimli does understand Elvish, as there's a scene in the Fellowship of the Ring where they meet a party of elves. He complains about the elves not speaking in common, and then he says something very rude in Elvish to them. He does say, speak a language we can all understand. But I think you're referring to Thorin in one of the Hobbit movies, and I do believe he didn't speak Elvish, but Dwarvish, or whatever that's called. But I don't think Gimli does that. I think you're confusing it. Aragorn hearing Theoden is not that unrealistic. I was in a massive gym that had 22 basketball courts inside it and was packed with 8 people over 1,000, and could hear my coach calling us from across the gym. Okay, let me just say this, right? Imagine a scenario like this. Hang on a second, Ian. Hang on. Imagine this, yeah. Okay, could you imagine that? Now imagine that times 1,000. Plus those 1,000 people screaming bloody murder because they're probably about to die. You know, something like ah! Ah! Something like that. And all around you, constantly, whilst you are desperately trying not to die. Because as soon as you blink, you get a sword stuck in your eyeball. Yeah, I think Aragorn hearing Theoden in that scenario is about equivalent to you. It was a pretty massive gym, you said. Was it full? It was quite a full gym. I think that's about the same. Yeah, that's about the same. Legolas and the Fellowship are the only group with experience against the Urukhai at this point. I would disagree with you with some quotes from the book, but I don't actually feel like looking that up. The film makes it believe like Saruman was the guy who like fucking invented the Urukhai or something, but Urukhai, they existed before this as well. So the elves who live thousands of years, they have faced Uruks before. Hence, he lets the elves about them know. The arms in the neck have no armor, blah blah blah. That was my point exactly. He doesn't let the elves know. Legolas says, "Oh, their armor is weak," in a hushed tone, whilst they are already aiming. So, at most, the two people next to him can hear it. Maybe like the two people behind him as well, and everybody else is just fucked. Like, what he should have done is he should have gone to Haldir before the battle and be like, "Yo, dude, I know this about their armor." Then Haldir could have like spread the knowledge amongst the troops so that everybody knew. All right, that's what he should have done. He doesn't do shit. Not shooting in at the beginning is probably because of loss of arrow power, distance, and neck is area difficult to hit. The old guy was lucky. Plus, they didn't have much in the way of arrows. They were rationed. Blah blah. Okay, maybe the humans. But the elves, they all had bows. They should have been well rationed with arrows. That was the whole point why they came, basically. I feel like. So, maybe. I don't really see it. Okay, what's that at 1445? Looks like a giant crossbow. What's it called? It's a ballista. SnapJelly, there's a very valid reason why only one Urukhai lights the bombs. He's an Urukhai berserker! You know how tough and durable berserkers are. Okay, so my point in my previous video was that it would have been more logical, more safe for the Urukhai to have like a tiny kamikaze group of multiple Urukhai to ignite the bombs in case the one in this case got killed. You say there's a very valid reason why it was only one, and that reason is he's a berserker. Why can't you have a group of berserkers? If this one super powered berserker or whatever gets a stray arrow in the eye, he is still dead. No matter how tough he is. Or gets a fucking artery cut or something. He is dead. Okay? So, why it's only one, that doesn't make any sense. They have multiple berserkers. They could have put multiple berserkers up to the task, actually. And another comment that I think about, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said that there's like orcs with torches right next to the hole, and they have this whole fancy thing with the berserker. Somebody else could have just ignited it as well. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Oh well. Yeah, so I said I didn't really understand the point of the side entrance in Helms Deep. Gamireka says, flank those who attack the gate, preferably with slings or short throwing spears, or throw poison gas orbs. It would be effective unless they have sand masks. Blah blah. Okay, whatever. The other two I think are jokes. I don't know if the first one is a joke or not, but anyway. I don't think that's logical. Because basically, arrow slits are for that. You know, if you want to shoot your opponent from the side, you have some extended piece with arrow slits. If you have like a side passage and you have to go there, move there, which is only about one person wide, and toss javelins over to the attacking force, you're completely exposed. You're not behind any cover. Like, if that was the point, there would have been like a wall for you to hide behind, at least. Which there isn't. And even then, I would argue that it isn't a logical solution to the problem. Like a simple arrow slit, it's very close. You're practically just safe in there. You can just shoot arrow after arrow after arrow into the sides of your enemies as well. There are actually arrow slits in Helm's Deep, but they don't seem to be in use. So yeah, I would comment about the other two as well, make jokes about it, but I'm too tired. So. Sorry, thanks for your input, Kami. Regarding the pikemen, remember that the Uruks were expecting at some point to fight the horsemen of Rohan. This is apparently why they also wield their swords with the point on the false edge, blah blah blah. Alright, I actually said in my video that it makes sense for the Urukhai to have bikes, but not in the front. Alright, thing is, an army would always need to be diverse. Logically, an army would always need everything. They need long distance, close distance, you know, they need spears, spikes, swords, archers, whatever. But the thing is though, if you don't put your soldiers in the right spot, you're gonna lose. And the Urukhai don't need pikemen at the front of the line when they're charging a fortress. Because what's your pike gonna do there? They don't need pikemen in the middle. If the pikemen are there to prevent a cavalry charge, which they most likely are, then why are there pikemen in the middle of the army, in the center? Are they gonna expect a cavalry charge to pop out from the ground? No, there should be pikemen at the flanks and at the back. Because that's where they're useful. If they get charged by horses, that's where they're gonna be charged. So that's where the pike should be, and nowhere else. I respect your shoulder hair. My shoulder hair respects you back. Mwah. Alright, This is a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. I thought I had more energy. So I think I'm just gonna... I'm just gonna cut it here. So... I completely forgot my own outro. If you stuck around this long, you might as well subscribe. Also follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And thank you for joining my quest. I hope you'll join me in the next one. Bye guys.